सत्कारणाय वितताय नमो नमस्ते यो विप्रलिम्ब विपरीत मतिप्रबोधान् वादान् निरस्य कृतवान् भुविदत्ववादं सर्वेश्वरो हरिरीति प्रतिपादकं तम् आनन्दतीर्थमुनिवर्यं नमामि। पूज्याय राघवेन्द्राय सत्यधर्मरताय च भजतां कल्पवृक्षाय नमतां कामधेनुवे। सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावतीतमस्तु मा विश्वितावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। अत ईशावास्य उपनिषदः यज्ञेय उपनिषदः शान्तिपाठः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Namaskaram friends. Now we have come to the last mantra of Isavasyaupanishad Upanishad, mantra number 18. When we have come to mantra number 18, we have seen quite a bit of concepts, in the from mantra number 1 to 17. We have gone about, the sarva vyaptitva of the God. He is there everywhere, and how we have to do our upasana, and how we have to keep doing our duty. Karmanyeva kurmani, because we can't do away with not doing your job or duties. You will have to do this, because once you have come with this linga sarira in this world, you have got to do the duty, because that is the only way you will be able to get from the externalities, the extricate knowledge you will get. From there you will be able to inculcate and go into your inward journey. That is what is happening. This entire Upanishad, we have seen that it is from the Samhita of the Rig Veda itself. In the Kanva, last Samhita, 48th Samhita of Kanva Samhita, Yajñavakya, we have taken it from there, and this has been totally told to us. And in fact, this last mantra number 18 is appearing as one of the mantra in the Rig Veda itself. So when you are doing Adhyayana, this mantra comes as a part of the Rig Veda. That is the importance of this mantra. And it is also appearing in Isavasyaupanishad Upanishad. It is part of the Samhita, from where exactly the Isavasyaupanishad Upanishad has been taken into. When we have seen the entire Upanishad, and when we have seen the entire concepts, we were discussing that and all. The idea is the Guru and Sishya, they are doing it together. For us, we call it Yajñeya Upanishad. Yajñeya is the Amsa of Vishnu. He has given this knowledge to his grandfather. Though he is a grandson, he has given it to his grandfather Swayambhu Manu. The Manu is the first one. He is the first of the mankind. In fact, he is the ruler of the earth in this yuga, and he continues to be protecting the earth. That is the concept as far as Sanatana Dharma is concerned. He continues to do that. So from that concept, he is imparting to us, imparting to all other, because from him he gave it to Ishvaku. Ishvaku is the first one, of the entire Raghu Vamsa. In his Vamsa only Ramachandra Murthy has also come. So therefore it has come through all these people. In fact, it has come from Treta Yuga. From Treta Yuga, it has come from everywhere, and it is continuing. And since we are all discussing and trying to impart the knowledge ourselves, we are also supposed to be the Sishyas of Swayambhu Manu. So when we are discussing all this entire Upanishad, we are supposed to be discussing together and get the knowledge. The last mantra is the invocation of the Guru and Sishya together. This is exactly the concept. And as all of you are going through the Gita also, because you have all joined the great Gita Yajna, because to know the concepts of Gita, you will also be seeing in the chapter number 4. The chapter number 4 of Gita talks about the transcendental knowledge, the highest knowledge. That highest knowledge is Bhagavad Gita itself. The first sloka of the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the transcendental knowledge, when it is being discussed, because the Arjuna, he was asking, because this transcendental knowledge, what we are having, how this knowledge has come and how it is done. Then Krishna says, this is not the first time the knowledge is being given to you. The knowledge has already been given. The Lord Krishna said it has been the impartation, this great science has been imparted to Vivaswan. Vivaswan is the sun god. He is that solar planet. He is the sort of a primordial and ruler of solar planet. And like Swayambhu Manu is the ruler of the planet Earth, he is the ruler of that. It has been imparted to him in Treta Yuga. So that is how, because when Treta Yuga, and there are 7 Manus are there. Each Yuga and different Manus come and all. This Swayambhu Manu, he was also there at that point of time, Treta Yuga. That Manu was there. He has imparted to Manu, and Manu has imparted to Ishvaku. He is the predecessor of Raghuvamsa, one of the first Ishvaku Vamsa which has come from, in which Rama has come. It has been imparted, so all of them have come to know of this entire Bhagavad Gita. So that is how it's not the first time I am telling to you. Now I am telling to you because you have become eligible enough to get the knowledge and you have become my dear friend. And since you have got the craving, since you have got the thirst, Trishna Vichetvata, what they call it, since you have got it, that I am imparting to you. This is what he says. In that, you will also see, Arjuna is like us. He says, we are in Dwapara Yuga now. Now, you are telling me that you have imparted to Vivaswan. Vivaswan was much senior to you. He was the sun god in Treta Yuga and he was there and all. How that, because you could have imparted, because now we are in Dwapara Yuga. See, he is like a Nara, like us. He is asking. For that, Krishna replies, look, that is 4th sloka of the chapter 4. He says, we had very many manifestations. We had very many births. You are not able to remember. I do remember everything. So when he says that, it is not that because he is Almighty is remembering. He is always your internal controller. You may not be knowing. See what we say in this birth, when we are having it, we may not be knowing what was our earlier birth and what we did and all, what knowledge we acquired and all. But he says, you may not be knowing, I know it. If you see the 4th sloka of the Gita, it will appear as if both of us are born every time, in every yuga after yuga. I remember, you don't remember. But it's not only like that. The concept is, he is that being the controller, he is manifesting. Whenever he is manifesting, his manifestation is having his amsa, he is there always. And he is also there as internal controller. He is without as well as within. Therefore, what he says is, this Bhagavad Gita is not something new. It has already been told. Now you have become eligible, you are asking, you are craving for it, you have got your qualification is totally good enough to be imparted. You got a total craving only to do and to surrender to me. I am telling you, this is what he says. The point what I am telling is, therefore, it is always, this knowledge is coming from yuga after yuga, Sanatana. It doesn't have sort of existence for some period of time. It is there for always. So when it is done, Nara and Narayana together, they go and discuss Bhagavad Gita to impart it to the mankind always. Nara is Arjuna, Narayana is Krishna. Likewise, here also, the Guru Sishyas, the Swayambhu Manu and whoever, all of us who are trying to impart the knowledge of Isavasyaupanishad in whatever way we could do, that is the impart that way. That is the purpose, as a Guru and Sishya together, we will have to do the Upasana. This Upasana, finally, when he says, in that whatever we have to understand, last mantra number 17, we said, Vayuranilam Amritam Madedam Bhatsmantam Shariram Om Krutosmara Kritangsmara and all. Om Krutosmara Kritangsmara, twice it was said. When it was said and all, it is the Guru and Sishya discuss, look, finally, when you go to the pinnacle of knowledge, the highest path when you go, and when you have to leave this, because these are all, to understand, not that at that point of time, it is the concept that is being imparted which you have to understand. When you need a pinnacle of knowledge, that is nothing much, you have to go about, then you pray, because you have done quite a bit of things and all. It is since you have lived in the world and experienced in the world, you just pray to that first 15th mantra, Hiranyena Patrena. No, you that Satyasya Apihitam Mukam, you pray to him, please remove your veil and let me have a look at that. Once he removes the veil and look at him, like you submit your thing and tell him whatever good I have done, please recognize. If there is anything that blemish is there, you please just take it out and purify it and give your grace so that I can attain whatever realization. This entire mantra is the Guru and Shishya are trying to pray to the Lord and trying to take all the good things and remove any extricate obstacles that comes in the way of acquiring the knowledge to get the final enlightenment. What we have to have in this world, what we have to finally attain, because having taken this in this manifestation, because this is going to be there with you for several other, your manifestations to come. This Guru and Shishya are taking us to this pinnacle of this knowledge, the final, we are taking to the culmination, the crescendo in the music, and finally you go to that path. That is what it is. So now we will go to this particular mantra. This mantra has been, in fact, since it is a part of Rigveda, most of the Rigveda recital and all, because they refer to most of the Samhitas as well as the recital of Rigveda while explaining this particular mantra. The mantra reads like that: Agnenaya supataraye asman vishvani deva vayunani vidwan yodayasmat juhurnamayeno bhuishtam te namavuktim videma. This is again a Jagatik Santosh. It has got more than 44 letters. And it does have, because they bring the final concept, the entire concept of Isavasyaupanishad culminating into this. Agnenaya supata raye asman vishvani deva vayunani vidwan yodayasmat juhurnamayeno bhuishtam te namavuktim videma. It's a very big sloka, mantra. This mantra, when he says, what is that, finally he says, first he says Agne. Agni is because Agni is the primordial, this power, the Agni is carrying the Paramatma. The Paramatma's power is in Agni. Agni is being taken as so one of the fundamental source of creating this world, energizing this world, ending this world. Same thing, creating this anything, body or anything, any insentient, everything and all. Sustaining it, finally giving the final dissolution to the whole thing. If you want to exactly, because how this Agni has been given so much importance and all, the first mantra, if you are doing Vedadhyana, if you are going for the Vedic this one, once you are prepared for everything, this is the very first mantra with Rigveda, which says Agni mile purohitam yagyasya devam ridvijam Hotaram Ratnadatamam. This is the first, everyone who is doing Vedadhyana will have to know. What does it mean? Agnir Mile, because the Agni, because you are carrying the entire power, the Paramatma has created to you and he has given the grace to you. Agnir Mile Purohitam. Purohitam in the sense, normally what we understand as Purohit is, we call Purohit, because it also got a background to this. Purohitam means you existed much before, in the beginning, you were there. And before everything, anything, sentient, insentient and all, you were there because the Paramatma created you and other Devatas, and you are the prime Devata who has been created for giving this creation, sustenance and the dissolution of the entire. You were there, Purohitam. Purohitam yagyasya devam. So whenever, because when people do, everything is yajna. When everyday life you are doing is yajna. Morning onwards, evening when you are taking food, it is Agnihotra your to stomach. When you are talking, the power which comes to you, when you are telling, so good words will have to come once you do, because the yajna, because whenever you do, you will be graceful. Like, the sages and rishis, what they have told. They have not told anything sort of very superfluous. They have told exactly the point, the truth, the final truth. So what we are speaking is this. What we are seeing will be truth. Because your mind is conditioned, you will be able to do, you are able to do Satya Dharmaya, when we say, Hiranmayena Patrena Satyasya Apihitam Mukam. When you say we are Satya Dharmaya Drishtaye, the Satya Dharmaya Drishtaye is I am following all the Dharma as I could understand with the limited way, whatever is I could do. So you show me your Satya Swarupa, and my Dharma is also Satya Dharma, therefore give me your grace and to do it. That. Here also the first mantra says Agni is finally the primordial power, how it is that. And finally, when they say Yajnasya Devam Ritvijam, Ritvijam means it has to be Dhatu as Ritu Vijam. See, because in every Ritu, every season, when you are in the world, the climate is there. There will be a summer, Vasanto Asya Sijajam Grishma Yadma Saraddavi, because now Sharad Ritu is running. So in all the Ritus, you pray, because in the Vedic days, they used to pray rain god, when there was no rain. And they used to pray the Indra, when there was too much of rain to protect, which you must have seen in Bhagavatam also. Indra tries to bring too much of rain and other things, to protect that. Likewise, because we were praying to the natural power, etymologically all this denotes to the final supreme power only. It is not to the Indra, Vayu, Varuna or anything. Finally, because they are the one who are deriving the power from him. They are getting it. And the next line says, in every season we are doing it, and you are going to be the protector in all seasons, because you will have to face all the season in this world. And it has got a metaphor, all the season, in the sense, sometimes you will be having a pleasant happenings. Sometimes you will have some sort of you think it is a distress, because the way you are able to take it, it may be pleasant or unpleasant or distress at the condition of the mind at that point of time. Sometimes you will feel things are getting delayed. Sometimes you will feel things are going faster, more than what you expected. You will be overwhelmed. You will be exuberant. All those things in any time, Ritvijam, because any time when you are going to pray to the, in all these cases, whenever you want, you will have to take it. And when you get something good happens, what you pray? Because let this good continue. That is what we. And when something untoward happens, kindly remove it. And we do have a concept, very often, when you don't have this realization, you will feel, why it happens to me? Why should it happen to me? Is it, because this world is only to get suffering or anything like that and all? We are not supposed, because we are doing our duty and other things, why should we have? Then finally he gives, it is not suffering. And you will certainly, because the conditions he will create, and he will create your mental makeup. When you go into deep, and you will find it is not the distress, because you will feel comparatively, you will see the external world. What is happening in the external world, you will be comparing and all. But if you go to the internal, nothing is untoward is happening. In fact, he is trying to give you the benefit of everything what you have done and got your upasana and all. In fact, this mantra, in the port of it, internally it comes to that. See, in the same Rigveda mantra, Agnir Mile Purohitam Yajnasya Devam Ritvijam Hotaram Ratnadatamam. Hotaram Ratnadatamam, in the sense, you are giving me jewels, you are giving me wealth and all. How is the wealth? If you see the whole world, from where you are getting, all your food is being nourished by all the plants that is coming out of the earth. That earth, when it comes, when you plow and all, finally it's Agni who converts entire thing and gives the energy to the root. Finally you get it. And then, you have to live. And when you have to live, what is it? You need stones, you need granites, and then again you go into that entire earth only. You get it only. And then jewels, whether any base metal or any precious metal, everything comes from the volcanic metamorphosis only. When the volcanic metamorphosis is, it is basically the Agni who converts the entire, because the residues into the precious metals or base metals, and they are required for your living. Anything that is required is. In fact, if you see the cotton that is grown, or even the oil you are getting, all the synthetics what you are getting, they are all cracking of petroleum, naphtha. Naphtha comes from where? Oil. If you really see, finally, everything comes, this Bhuma Devi, she gives it to you. You don't create anything. You think you are plastics. Plastics comes out of cracking naphtha. That is the polymer. The monomer comes from there. The monomer is then converted into polymer, and you do everything. Every synthetic fabric comes from there. Nothing that man can create. The matter can change from one form into another form. Energy can transform into one form into another form. No one can create the matter, no one can create the energy. And Agni has been given so much of importance. Even when we are talking and all, our body temperature 98.4 degrees maintained. You need that warmth. That warmth is maintained by the Agni. The Agni, whatever food you have taken, energized, and it has taken away the excess heat out of the system. And because you are taking water into that and converts that water also, and finally it maintains you. As long as it is 98.4 is there, body is okay. Therefore, Agni is so important. If you see the whole gamut of your life, world, everything, that is why, that is the very purpose, the very primordial and the first mantra of Rig Veda, it goes to the invocation of Agni. So, same Agni has been taken into the mantra number 18, which is again the Samhita of Rig Veda. There it says Agni. See, Agnim, Agnam, Deham, Gunaputam, Jagadva. O Agni, the controller of the body, indeed of the whole universe. That you can't simply understand unless we go into the first mantra of Rig Veda, understand how Agni is so important. So he has been prayed. And this is how the Manu does, and the Manu is sort of invoking all of us and is sort of telling us, let us pray together to Agni. Agni Naya Supataraya Naya. Naya is a guide, liberator. See, he leads. See, Agni, what is the creation of the God? He carries the power of the God. He leads us. See, when you have to lead anything, for instance, when you have any conversion process or anything like that, you need Agni. Likewise, to lead, he is leading you. So when you are focusing, it is again the energy comes in the form of Agni and makes you to the. Because we have got so many koshas. In the primary kosha, the primary mover of the kosha is Agni. He takes us through all the koshas and focuses on this. Finally, we are able to go into the path of trying to get the knowledge which we are seeking. Supata is an auspicious path. Lead us into the auspicious path. Pata is the panth, this path. Supata is the highest, blemishless. Lead us to that path. Raye is the wealth of liberation. The wealth of liberation, that is how, the first mantra of Rig Veda is that said, Ratnadatamam. Ratnadatamam is said, whatever you get knowledge, there's a jewel. What we have got the knowledge, they are not equivalent to jewel. They are just about, because whatever we are getting, it comes and goes. It doesn't get retained. It doesn't have a retention power. It is not able to sustain you. To sustain the soul and sustain the body and sustain the whole knowledge, you need that. You give us the wealth. And the wealth is finally when you get liberated. When you are devoid of all the conditions of raga, dvesha, all those things when it goes off, that is the final wealth. You are seeking that wealth from Paramatma through Agni, because he is the one, he has been created to sustain as well as take the dissolution as well as create whatever it is there and all. Supataraye Asman, all of us. Not only when we say Asman, it is not only the individual of us, the whole world, sentient, insentient, all the animals which are extinct, which are about to be extinct, which are still able to survive despite the human factor. We are doing everything on behalf of the whole universe. Asman, Vishwani. Vishwani is complete. Complete, not only this universe, it is beyond this universe also. Wherever, because your thoughts can reach. Your thoughts can reach even beyond this universe, anywhere you can think of, it is taking the entire complete. Give us the complete. In plenitude, the knowledge what you are getting is completely full. It's not going to have any void. Devaha, O Lord, deity, who is created, Vayunani. Vayunani is the knowledge. Knowledge is pieces of knowledge. What we have got is something here, something there. See, supposing I say I am learning Bhagavad Gita, I am also listening to Ramayana, and I am also listening to some other scriptures, and I am also able to read, because some novels, from there they also give it. We get a lot of ideas. But what is the final process of the best, the pinnacle of the human mind in this capacity to? Because they say always, you are able to do the right side of the mind, not left. and say once you are able to do right and left side of your the brain, you will be something phenomenal. But that's not that's already that comes not through any other physical or the organic process. It is the organic process internally. We will have to create all the pieces of knowledge we combine together, and finally you get into a distilled wisdom. Then you will know exactly. You will not be Ramayana says this, Bhagavatam says this, someone that Acharya said this. So you will not get into this agitation. You will not be agitated at all. You will be doing what exactly, because intuition, your sakshi, your pratyaksha bhava will tell you what you are doing is absolutely correct. When you are getting the feeling, that means you are able to get all the knowledge together. And then you are able to get into the final distilled wisdom that guides you all through the life, not only this life, in any other life that may be coming in any other manifestation. And you are praying to the Lord for the grace. Both Guru and Sishya, both of them pray to the Lord for this. Vainani Vispan, Vidwan. Vidwan, see the Vidwan is a word, normally we say, he is expert, he is everything and all. Vidwan is a very, very significant word in Veda. It is Veda is Vid. Vid is the root for the Veda. So the one who is Vidwan is who has got the entire concepts propounded in the Veda as well as the Upanishad and Sanatana Dharma. And finally he was able to grasp, not only in the grasp, when you are able to grasp, if you are able to again, if you are going to speak in the same mumbo jumbo, people will not understand. The great acharyas like Shankara, Ramanuja, Madhvacharya, Vallabhacharya, all those things, they were able to grasp and put it in simple way in which common people can understand. Saralta. When you are able to say it in everyone's language, everyone's lingo, how they can understand, that is going. Because why Satya Sai Baba, this Shirdi Sai Baba and Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, they are all very popular. They have put all great concept into simple way, you can understand it. Sai Charita says, whatever the Isavasyaupanishad Upanishad we discussed, the maid servants episode, the first episode, we discussed, that itself shows what is Isavasyaupanishad Upanishad concept. They are able to say that, because they are the realized acharyas. So for them, all the pieces of knowledge, everything, there is nothing, no sort of agitation, no some confusion and all, they are very clear. So for us, because whatever comes, it is not that you will have to do this, that and all. Once you get and you will be able to totally adopt, there is nothing like that. But human mind is not always possible. You are living in a world. When you are living in a world, you always see the drishti. Whatever appears to be, so I am doing this, they say it is this, but something else is happening, that something happening to someone else, some new thing is coming. People say, you do that. For everything, you get a difference of opinion, you get always agitated. And that is the nature of the world. There's nothing to be worried about. Jagrati, the world is Jagrati. When we are created, we are all supposed to be having this Jagrati and get this confusion and get confounded worse. But to come out of this confusion was confounded, to get the clarity of the knowledge into the pure distilled wisdom. This is what exactly what. So once you get that, you will be, you don't have to appear to be like a saint and all. You may be in a normal appearance, but you will never be agitated. We have seen people like that. People who have not been agitated, even the worst of circumstances, and stood like a rock of Gibraltar, So we have seen people like that. And even some leaders, we have seen the leaders. They have all stood like that. That is why the country or the society and whatever has stood the test of time, developed, prospered, and still existing. The Sanatana Dharma is there. Sanatana Dharma doesn't, because everyone was following their own way. And Dr. Radhakrishnan has said, if the billion Indians are there, billion way of attaining the God, and I have got particular way of upasana, you are having a for you, you don't have to do upasana, you think of him every day 5 minutes, that is good enough. Whatever you do it. But once you have that knowledge and clarity and the ability not to be agitated by anything, it doesn't, it goes beyond the religion. It goes beyond. The Sanatana Dharma is nothing, you could be been born anywhere. You could still be, a follower of Sanatana Dharma once you have it. See, this is very surprising to note. We are all, because we are all brought in the Sanatana Dharma, we have been doing this and all. Ralph Waldo Emerson is one of the eminent literature of American in the English language, and Henry David Thoreau. and the Schopenhauer in Germany and all. You know what they have written in their final this one? Without reading few stanzas or few mantras of Upanishad, they have never gone to bed. This has attracted them. What they have got is the secondary knowledge by translation. The people who have come here and picked up whatever is there, that has attracted to them. In fact, there is a research paper. I was surprised to put my hand on that research paper. How Ralph Waldo Emerson has been sort of influenced by Sanatana Dharma on full book. He quotes every verse of Rig Veda and every verse of Upanishad, how he has read every day. And he says, because he got all this entire fortune only later part of his life. Had he got it earlier, what would have happened? He feels, this itself has given me so much of a boon. Had I started this, because that is how they are craved for. The knowledge is so. But unfortunately, for us, the people who to tell us, in a simpler way and to make us to sort of go into this path, well, certain times it is there, certain times it is not there. Finally, we only put it to the God's grace. At least now we are able to do it. Why I am telling is, see why these people have to do, because they have their own gospel. They have got their own sort of a variety of doing it. None of them have gone to it is attracts because the substance and truth of this entire Veda and Upanishad is so high. That is why all this knowledge put together, finally you get it. You become a Vidwan. Vidwan is the one who finally realized and appreciate. They are all Vidwans. Ralph Waldo Emerson is Vidwan. He may be anything else, but at least he has understood the port of the meaning, how he has to follow it in his life. Yodi, remove, separate. See, whenever anything comes, you remove, whatever is, because when you do, Prarabdha karma, what we said, Prarabdha karma, we will have to exhaust in this birth itself. It gets exhausted. It is even for animals, it gets exhausted. For us also, it is good. And something will happen. Okay, so I am just living, I am exhausting my Prarabdha karma. And what is this concept of moksha? What is that? Moksha is nothing but, because once you have followed, once you, without any sort of a confusion, once you had the clarity of the knowledge and lived, finally, when you are getting into the bliss and unagitated mind is the finally moksha. You can say that because moksha is not a concept that we will have to realize, the Surga, you will be having, you will be taken to this, that and all. That all those Puranas, they will all say that, because they are supposed to be meant for that, because they are all finally propelled to get you into the state of unagitated, clear and clarified mind. That is exactly, coming to this Asman. Juhurnam. Juhurnam is only in 6 or 7 times it has been used in Vedas and some Upanishad. It says Juhurnam. No. Say anything you are doing is Nam. Juhurnam is the crooked way of doing. Crooked way of, in the sense, it has got too many metaphors, because crooked way of say, I do a shortcut to do this. Someone said, you do this, I did that. That was good. Because sometimes you say, even if you do something bad for a good thing, it is okay. Someone says, you do it. It may also happen, in the heat of things, when you are in the particular way of life, it will all be happen. It also has got another, this one. You can see externally, so many people will be telling, you recite this, you don't have to do anything. You do anything, everything will be, and then, you believe in astrology. Astrology certainly is good science, as long as it is understood in the port of it. See, astrology is nothing but, because there are so many planets, all the planets are creation of the God only, they are there. They are supposed to be in a particular position of your birth chart. And based on that, they say and all. Once you have an unagitated mind, clarity of thought, nothing will happen to you, whatever your birth chart is there. If you see the birth chart, in fact, you must have, in Valmiki Ramayana, we will also come to know when Indrajit was to be born, the Ravana called all the planets, you better be in that position. Don't be, I think, you go, don't here and there, and you put them in the best position. What happened? Finally, there was finally a way to Indrajit, and he won the Indra also. He had, that Astra also, he can do that, and he was really, if you see the character per se, it is one of the wonderful characters. He had everything that is going for him. Rama also, he has got 5 grahas ucha. Uchaste grahapanchake suramunau sentau namyam titau. See, because that's what they say, because he has got 5 grahas ucha. But finally, He undertook, the 14 years, he never complained, not a single verse says, he complained, look, I have been sent to forest. He has taken it because there is a purpose behind that. That is why whenever something happens to us, people say what happens to us is not important. What we learn from it is important. So what happens is happening to you, and once you know that it is happening with a purpose, and then once you get the knowledge, that is the piece of knowledge you put together, finally that comes to you, the clarified knowledge without any agitation. That is exactly the metaphor and the port of it. Juhurnam, when they say crooked, in the sense it's not only that, if I have done some bad karma, karma is not bad as long as you have done with the total devotion and as a duty. But Juhurnam, what happens is, sometimes your mind, wavers in that, you don't, your intellect doesn't guide you. And when intellect doesn't guide you, you don't know what you are doing. That is, you are not aware of yourself. Sometimes, you may be telling, some people will say certain things, do certain things. When you go and talk to them later, I didn't know, somehow, I just don't know how I did it. Because that is, at that point of time, the agitated mind, you don't know what is happening, you have done that. So the very purpose is, you go without the agitated mind. Anything that must have happened, you take it away from me, so that we are put into the highest path of enlightenment, both Guru and Sishya. That is what it is coming in. Juhurnam yenu, because see, yenaha it is called, because any sinful act or anything which is not desired. So that comes, because that is again qualitative. The word qualitative in the sense, because what is considered to be a sin, we have got, because some other country, it is not considered. If you see the law itself, you take the law, French law is different, and the American law is different. Even the former IMF chief was arrested, put behind bars in US, because his act was considered to be not according to, not as per the provisions of their law. But French said, in our country, it is no longer because the culture comes it about. Whereas when we talk about Sanatana Dharma and Veda, one of the things very often emphasized is, it is not only giving the religious as well as the spiritual knowledge, it is also giving the sociological knowledge and cultural knowledge. See, all these things have come from, the cultures, Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, and even, because our Vedic culture, the Gangetic plains, when we had present in the south, as well as in south, in Tamrabarani or this Kaveri plains, whatever was there, people were producing, all our thoughts are together. So we never had so much of communication. But despite that, you see, we had the same scriptures, same way of doing things. If you procedurally see, basically, etymologically, everything is same. So that is why this culture, it has not been, no one has ordained, no one has given a gospel to us, no one has given a 10 commandments. We have all created, we have all lived, and we are living through. Even we don't have to intervene, this will live through another several millenniums and all. That is why this is Sanatana Dharma. That is why this Gena, in the sense, whatever you consider, your mind, what it says, it is not good anyway it has happened, you just say, please take it away, let me put into a correct path. Puishtam te unto you namavuktim. Namavuktim is the, I pray to you, salutations. Uktim in the sense, from the heart of hearts, from the mind, everything together. When you pray to the God and all, Surasa Sirate, because you just Sashtanga Namaskara, when you say, it's not only your body, mind, heart, everything together. Your thymus gland, your Ajna Chakra, your Ananda, everything together. You are focusing yourself on to pray to the God. That is exactly you are trying to do this. The highest form of salutations, Videma, we offer. O Lord Agni, you are actually the very controller of one who are leading us, who have created this world and sustaining, and you are also going to finally dissolve. Guide us by the highest revered path to the most precious wealth of liberation. Liberation is the unagitated mind and a clarity of thought. And you lead us to that. The efforts we have made remove us from the effects of past sinful acts as we are understanding, it has been understood by us. It may not be sinful which we have understood, because it is something, please remove it. Thus we pray to you and let us go for the highest form of liberation. This is what it is. So this is exactly the port of the entire this mantra. It does have different connotations by different acharyas, as well as the different form of explanations given by some sages also. See, when they say, when we say we want a liberation and all, they have also taken etymologically, finally when it goes into that, when the flame comes, normally what happens, it also has the smoke. So when the smoke, when you go in, when the smoke takes, it is black. Whenever you are not able to get the knowledge in the proper way, and whenever you are having quite a bit of agitation, still the clarity is not there. Still you have to get the clarity. They say that is the Dhum Jyoti, because it is a dark one. They call it Pitrayana. Pitrayana, since once you are there, because you have to get the knowledge. Why the cycle of birth takes place? Till such time you attain the knowledge. Liberation is nothing but till such time finally you attain the highest knowledge. You will be manifested, in the form whatever you are finally entitled to. With the manifestation you get that. The other one is in the flame, Agni itself, because when it's the bright light, in the resplendent light, when you are part of it, when you got the full knowledge, then it takes you, that is called Devayana. Devayana, Pitrayana, these both are discussed in Chandogya Upanishad. And perhaps by God's grace, we will also be going to that Upanishad in the later part. We'll discuss that. That is also being discussed in the one sloka in Bhagavad Gita also, it says like that. See, what it says is, basically you take the knowledge without any doubt. If you are doubting, whether it is possible, whether, because why should it happen, because, and to have that doubt removed, you will have to ask questions. Unless you ask the questions yourself, it is not something will come and it is not a fast food bus, it is here, you take it. I think your doubt will begin. You have to go through the process of it. This manana, what they call Shravana, Manana, when we do it, and when we are listening to, the Acharyas, Gurus, and various type when they think. Because they have all gone through that and then they are telling you. And when they are telling you, and one thing very important, they never tell you, please follow me. You must have seen the JK's lecture, J. Krishnamurthy's lecture. He say, please, I am telling you, don't take me as a guru and follow and all. You'll be wondering, he said so many good things, finally he's telling, don't follow. It is like, he says, you think upon, you regurgitate in your mind, you try to validate. The Upanishad is for validation of our thoughts. You validate. Once you validate yourself, you get the final glimpse of the truth, which is going to sustain you. Simply telling, following someone has said or someone else has said, that is the extricate knowledge. That is what exactly they say sin and all. Without understanding, without regurgitating, without having a pratyaksha bhava, when you do that, that happens. He says, let us not do all those things and finally give us this one. So when this concept has been done, and it has also been related further, they say when you are having a darkness or anything like that, people always pray for, they should leave this Ringa Sharira only in the Uttarayana. Like Bhishma, when he said he wanted to leave his body, Ichha Mrityu, only in Uttarayana. Uttarayana is the one finally, even the sinner, he gets the final redemption. That is the belief behind that. And Dakshinayana is supposed to be, you are still to get the final knowledge and also therefore, it will have a rebirth. And these are all the concepts that have been given, but that subsequently, because, see, these have happened and at that point of time, society was like that, the living was like that. And afterwards, one of these things that is always being said is, because of these concepts only, so many people could sort of occupy, the different places of our country and we were subjugated. That is why when Vivekananda came and said, arise, awake and sleep not, when he said, when he has taken it to us, he said, look, these are all the concepts. Finally, he said, look, what if there is a rebirth? He said, I would like to have as many rebirths as possible if I have to serve the mankind and suffer. That is the greatest sort of a boon I request for. I don't want anything without a birth and all. We also saw, because earlier in one of our, this one, one of the scriptures, what we have, seen is, he says you accept, even if you are, is Yoga Vasishta, it's a scripture, which is not being quoted, we have said earlier, because it has got some sort of different opinion on it. As some say it has got 29,000 slokas, some say it has got 32,000 slokas. The Ramayana is having only 24,000 slokas. This is supposed to be part of Vasishta's advice to Rama, Vasishta's knowledge importance to Rama, Yoga Vasishta. It has got 32,000 slokas and a very elaborate one. In that they say, you accept anything even if a child says with a reason. Don't accept anything if Brahma says without reason. See, why it is giving is, to acceptance or rejection will come only after examination by you. You regurgitate everything. Don't take everything as told by you. You think, because it is said it's a good thing. Is it correct? Once you are convinced, it will just be on your mind. Even if you are sleeping, it will be on your mind. In your wake up also, it will be on your mind. It will be part of your DNA. That is the knowledge they want. Because everything don't accept on only what has been said. Go by whatever has been taken into. That is what this. In this concept only, they said, the Jivan Mukti also said. By living in this world itself, you can have a liberation. Once you are having an unagitated mind, once you do everything, as a matter of duty only, and once you are going to be totally, because dealing with everyone in the same way, anyone who comes and interacts with you will be feeling pleasant to interact with you. Nothing, because it's not otherwise. Once you have it, that is the Jivan Mukti. We should look for that. That is the concept, that they are also telling. So these concepts are all being taken together, and finally when Vivekananda said, look, because for us, whom we have to serve the mankind. Mankind in the sense your own siblings, your own neighbors, your own society, and yourself. Keep a very good health for that and do it. If that is because that will give you the final redemption. You can do birth after birth. It's not that not to pray, because most of the things will say, let me not have rebirth. Rebirth in the sense, let me not have the unagitated mind and the clarity of the thought, and let me have all these conditionalities removed, so I am able to deal everyone as pleasant as possible, and my words be as sweet as possible, my deeds be as good as excellent as possible. This is the final invocation that comes to this. So when this entire concept that is being created, see, because when once you take all these Upanishadic thoughts and all, in this mantra, the final one, the interpretation that is being given by the Lord, because when you pray to the Lord, you are you are the powerful one. You have created the fire. Fire derives the power from you. You are the omnipotent. I offer you all obeisance and submit myself, body, mind, and intellect, everything together to you at your feet. Please lead me to the highest path, and let me not gravitate from the highest path. Let there not be any hindrance come in my way. So then let that particular path, let me lift up. By lifting up, let me be of use to others, so they can also be lifted. This is what exactly, this is one sloka is in Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 11th chapter it is there. Swapada moolam bhajata prayasaha tyaktena bhavasyaha harihi pareshaha vikarmayat chat pachinam katanchit dhumoti sarvam hridi himoti sarvam srini visishta. The sense, because finally when you see Vikarma is, which is not as per Vedic. Vedic karma is, because Vedic karma is not something different, it is separate from, it is our own day-to-day karma only, which we do as per their niyamas, what we have to do, niyama, what we have to do right from the morning to evening. When I am doing it, if anything is there, you please take me out of this and finally purify it and take me to it. That is what, finally it says. So once this submissions and finally when all is being submitted to you, the purpose of is, the entire Guru Shishya, they have discussed the 18 slokas right from the beginning, understand and how you will have to get it that way. What is the final port of it? We have come to that. Finally, we are going to get this knowledge and we are going to sustain this knowledge. And by sustaining this knowledge, you become a beacon for so many other people to get it from you. See, but certainly what will happen when you are talking to someone, when you are discussing to someone, you will try to impart, because without you being aware, because this will come to you, it is part of your DNA, comes to you, it proliferates all over the world. When it all over the world, that is the Vasudeva Kudumbakam. The entire world will be sort of a blissful place to COVID or no COVID, and it will be blissful place because it is a human interaction, the mind, the power of the mind. So once you get that type of a mind, you are an emperor and you don't have any differentiation. It goes up. It measures the cosmos. The measure of a man is the measure of his weight, he does, and the attitude he gains. This is what it happens. The whole thing that comes to that particular point. In fact, this every Upanishad Bhashyam, whenever it is written, Srimad Madhvacharya, he writes one Mangalacharanam. Mangalacharanam is the invocation. All acharyas write, but Madhvacharya in particular is every small work he has done. Hardly there is any work without not Mangalacharanam. Mangalacharanams are not there in some verses because that verse itself gives the port of the entire invocation. For instance, there is a way of doing that because if some of you are learning Sanskrit and all, once you go in Meghadutam, one of the finest scriptures, one of the finest creations, the mankind can get is Meghadutam Kalidasa's. The first sloka, it starts straight, as if from nowhere it comes. Normally he says, with the Mangalacharan. All of you might be knowing one sloka. Vagattavya samvrittau vagatta pratipattiye jagadagapitaro vande parvati parameshwaram. That is Kalidasa's invocation in one of the work. Raghuvamsha, Kalidasa, Kumara Sambhava, everything he has written. In Meghaduta there is no... In Meghaduta when he says, he starts kaschit. Someone, he starts like that. But in that sloka when he says, he invokes Sita and Rama indirectly, so beautifully. Once you read that sloka and all, I think we will go into, I think in some other occasion I will give such a excellent, the nectar, what has been provided by all our great forefathers. We'll talk to them. It is like that. So basically the Mangalacharanam is all our writers, irrespective of the fact, they are writing the scriptures, they are writing the dramas or even the literature, they go for that. The Madhvacharya's Mangalacharanam for this Isavasyaupanishad, Nityanitya Jagadatre Nityaya Jnanamurtaye. Nityanitya, the world is Anitya, but this Nitya, you are going to be Nityaya Jnanamurtaye. See, jnana, what from once we get this ajnana removed after getting this, and whatever jnana is, nitya jnanam, it will be there permanent with you. Nityaya jnanam, he is the one who is giving us with his grace. Jnanamurtiye, Purnananda Rupaya, Hare, Sare, Sarva Yajna Bhuje Namaha. Sarva Yajna Bhuje Namaha, because what we have done is Ishavasya Yajna. We have done, we have given our tan, man and the entire focus onto this for this entire, the period of discussing this. Once with this, he gives the jnana to us. It will be permanent to us. It will be permanent to the soul, not to this body, not to this birth. It will come Purnananda. It will be Purna. That is, we are looking forward to that. That is the entire port in the first mantra itself, in the Mangalacharanam itself he has given. That excites you, and once you get into that, once you get this knowledge, what else is there? And as we discussed, this is the essence of, next week, we will take essence of Isavasyaupanishad, because we have discussed, all the slokas separately, and we have slogan with a lot of elaborations and all. We will get a thread of continuity of thoughts. It is, we can call it as much as essence of Isavasyaupanishad. So that in one go, we will understand, because exactly what we have gone through. And in fact, it will give us some sort of the executive summary, what we call it. It is like that. We will have it in the next one. And after that, we will be embarking upon another Upanishad journey, which we will discuss next week and tell you. And it will be another exciting journey. And before that, I will also give a brief on, because how we are going to structure and go about it. With this, I think, if you have anything we can discuss, or I can go to Shantipata. Anything, Amar? Ichamriti. Yeah, correct. Actually, Bhishma had a great purpose to do. He had, because in fact, when he was on the bed of arrows only, he gave the highest knowledge to the Yudhishthira and all others. And in fact, Vishnu Sahasranama also came out only during that time. His Ichha Mrityu was with a purpose. And as per the originally ordained, he was supposed to be, because he will not be leaving the body just like that. He will leave the body only when he is on the above the ground. See, he was on that, and even Ganga came. Ganga is mother, because she came and finally sort of met her son. He's a Ganga Putra. So when it was done, he had a purpose behind that. The Uttarayana importance was not known to Bhishma, or Bhishma doesn't want it. Because of Bhishma, Uttarayana got importance. So Bhishma when he said that, he got the highest knowledge when he gave the Vishnu Sahasranama. It is a Briha Samhita. Briha Samhita, Briha is vast. Brihadaranya Upanishad, when you say Brihadaranya Upanishad, it is a big forest. If you go alone, you will get lost. So, Brihat Upanishad, he concisely brought it into Vishnu Sahasranama. So, when you recite the Vishnu Sahasranama, I think some disturbance is there. Some Prabhuda, some mic may have it muted. Yeah. Are you able to hear now? Are you able to hear? See, Vishnu Sahasranama, all your, because 72,000 notes, Ida, Pingala, and the Sushmana, Nadi, they gets energized, even with one Nama of Vishnu Sahasranama. When you do entire Vishnu Sahasranama, such a powerful mantra, he gave it at that point of time. He chose Uttarayana because he wanted to give the sanctity to Uttarayana, so that people, whenever they want, they will sort of adjust themselves, in their life. Finally, they will crave for the end because they will get the highest knowledge. At that point of time, the entire vibration that is in the air and the entire the particles that is moving around, they will all give you the positive and the highest energy to the body, mind and intellect. That is why it has got that importance, not because that is one great thing they are telling. And apart from that, even our Vedas, if you see some of the explanations what they have given, Shruti, when they say how the Shruti has come, the Om also, A, U, Ma and Nata. Nata Brahman is also there. All the four together, Om. So when the Rishis, when they were going into meditation and all, when they were focusing on the vibration, the whispering winds, they were sending into the the primordial truth into their ear. That came into that mind, then finally what got into the mantras, and finally the Veda has formed. Aparushaya we say. Not one rishi or not one author is there. So many authors. Over a period of time, so many people got it. It is a whisper from the wind, the vibration from the cosmos. These are all come into being, finally turned into mantras, which we are doing through the walk. That comes through. Therefore, this Uttarayana is the period when people get the entire, your antenna is receptive to get all those things, and finally you can get the redemption. That is the sort of a port idea behind that. But since Bhishma has said, that normally the belief has come in Uttarayana is meant for this, not otherwise, because you will see lot of sages has sort of left their body in Dakshinayana. It's not that. It is basically, if you are able to get that vibration, reach that stage, it is there. That is why the Jivan Mukti has come. People who have come to Jivan Mukti, they rejected both this, the Uttarayana, Dakshinayana and all. What is that? The scriptures are, then only, it is, if I can get Mukti even in this life with this body on, what is the problem? I can still have it. So that has come about. That is how, we came to this Neo-Vedanta of Vivekananda. He said, don't bother about it. If you have birth, you go through that. What is that? Once you get it, acquire knowledge, it has given one more opportunity to acquire knowledge, refine it, go into the service of mankind. If I have to take a million births to serve the mankind, I will do it. What is the harm? That is what it finally says. It is the over a period of time, the thoughts which is termed, once you get into the defensive mode, everything needs a sort of, you need some antidote for that. But once you are open and once you don't have any defense to do, you are wide open. That is what Isavasyaupanishad. Don't burn. First, we will have to get three things. Fearlessness. Once we read, no fearlessness, no confusion of the mind. And you will follow the duty as told by your intuition. The seventh sense, what we call Sakshi. The seventh sense will guide you all through your life. This manifestation and several manifestations come. This is it. So we'll go to the Santipata. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Krishna Purnamastu.